Stop scrolling right now because something just happened in the Sister Wives universe that changes everything, and it was done so quietly, most people missed it. The rumors are no longer about what might happen, they are about what already did. Insiders are whispering, timelines are lining up, and the people who usually never stay silent have gone completely dark. And when that happens, you know a major move was made without cameras, without permission, and without chaos. Stay with me because this is not just a relationship update. This is a full power shift. And by the end of this video, you are going to see why nothing in this family will ever be the same again. Stop scrolling right now because something has shifted inside the Sister Wives universe, and it is happening quietly, deliberately, and with intention. And that silence is exactly why this story matters so much. Because when the loudest people suddenly go quiet, when the usual signals disappear, and when the familiar rhythms break, it is never random, it is strategic. And that is where we are right now, standing at the edge of a story that is not being told out loud yet, but is unfolding in plain sight for anyone paying attention. The rumors have moved past casual curiosity and into something sharper, something heavier, something that feels final. Insiders are not asking, is she engaged anymore? They're asking, did she already do it? Did she already sign? Did she already walk away in a way that cannot be undone? And the name at the center of it all is Janelle Brown, a woman who for years played the role of the steady one, the logical one, the quiet backbone of a complicated family system. And now, suddenly, that same woman appears to have stepped completely outside the frame. And when someone like Janelle moves without announcing it, you have to understand this was not impulsive. This was planned. This was thought through. This was built piece by piece long before anyone noticed. Because Janelle has always understood timing. She understands patience and she understands leverage. And that is why this moment feels different from every other rumor cycle we have seen before. Because the clues are not chaotic, they are coordinated. There is a noticeable silence from the adult children who are usually open and present online. There are no casual check-ins, no background photos, no location tags. And in the world of reality television, silence is never empty. It is full of meaning. Silence is protection. Silence is alignment. Silence is a choice to keep something sacred until the right moment. And then the subtle signs begin to surface. Not loud announcements, not posed portraits, just hints, fragments, palm trees, light sand, reflections of water glimpsed behind smiling faces posted days later than usual, and carefully worded captions about peace and clarity and new chapters. And anyone who has watched this family long enough knows that these words are not accidental. They are signals. And the theory forming now is not about a vacation or a reset. It is about a mission. Because this does not look like someone taking a break. This looks like someone closing a chapter and opening another, far away from the emotional weather that defined her past life. And the contrast could not be more striking, because while this quiet movement unfolds, there is visible stagnation elsewhere. The same locations, the same energy, the same unresolved tension playing on repeat. And that contrast alone tells a story of divergence. One path frozen in old patterns, the other moving forward with purpose. And what makes this so compelling is that the spectacle is not the point. The absence of spectacle is the point. Because for once, a major life decision may have been made without cameras, without producers, without external voices shaping the moment. And that alone is revolutionary in this context because it signals ownership and autonomy and the refusal to let something deeply personal become a commodity. And as viewers sense that authenticity, the pull becomes stronger because people are tired of staged moments. They are hungry for something real, something unpolished, something that feels chosen rather than performed. And that is why attention does not drift. It locks in because the stakes feel emotional, not manufactured. And the suspense builds not from chaos, but from restraint. Because the more contained this remains, the more intentional it appears. And that raises the question, why now? Why this way? And the answer seems to live in everything Janelle has endured quietly over the years. The financial sacrifices, the emotional compromises, the endless rationalizing of imbalance, and the slow realization that logic cannot fix a system built on control and scarcity. And once that realization settles, the next move is not dramatic, it is decisive. And that is what we may be witnessing, a decisive step taken out of view to ensure it remains untouched and uninterrupted. And if this was indeed a private union, a quiet commitment made somewhere warm and distant, it represents more than romance. It represents a reclaiming of narrative, because doing something privately removes it from negotiation. It cannot be debated, edited, or redirected. It simply exists. And that is powerful, especially for someone who spent decades explaining herself and now chooses not to explain at all. And as this story continues to ripple outward, the tension does not come from what is shown, but from what is withheld. Because every unanswered question pulls the audience deeper, every missing detail sharpens curiosity, and every day without confirmation adds weight to the idea that this is being protected for a reason. And the reason may be as simple and as profound as this. Some moments are meant to belong only to the people living them. And when someone finally chooses that, after a lifetime of shared exposure, it marks a turning point, not just in a storyline, but in a life. And that is why this is not just another rumor cycle. It feels like a threshold. And once crossed, there is no going back. As the pieces continue to fall into place, the story deepens, not through loud confirmations, but through reaction, through movement, and through the unmistakable shift in behavior from everyone connected to the center of this moment. Because when a single decision disrupts an entire ecosystem, you can see the impact long before you hear the explanation, and that is exactly what is happening now. The energy around this family has changed. Conversations have stalled, appearances feel strained, and the usual attempts to control narrative no longer land the same way, because something fundamental has been removed from the equation, and that something is access. Janelle appears to have closed the door, not with confrontation, but with completion. And that is what makes this chapter so unsettling for those left behind, because there is no argument to win, no discussion to reopen, no emotional leverage to pull. When a person decides they are done and moves accordingly, the system that depended on their participation begins to unravel, and that unraveling is visible in the sudden urgency coming from places that once felt comfortable with delay. Legal language begins to surface, contract speculation starts to circulate, and behind it all is a quiet fear that the center of gravity has shifted permanently. Because when someone who carried emotional labor, financial stability, and connective tissue exits cleanly, the vacuum exposes everything that was being held together by their effort. And the rumors of legal preparation do not read as romantic caution. They read as strategic self-preservation. Because entering a new phase while still tethered to unresolved obligations requires foresight. And Janelle has always been about foresight. She understands consequences, timelines, and ripple effects. And that is why the idea of a carefully structured agreement feels consistent rather than shocking. Because protection is not distrust, it is wisdom learned through experience. And for someone whose past involved shared assets, blurred boundaries, and long-term imbalance, drawing a clean line is not cold. It is compassionate to herself and to anyone she brings into her future. And that boundary changes the power dynamic instantly because it removes the possibility of future entanglement. It says, "This chapter is mine alone, and nothing from before gets to follow me forward." And that clarity can feel threatening to those who relied on ambiguity to maintain influence. Because once the lines are drawn, there is nothing left to negotiate. And that is when resistance appears, not as grief, but as panic. Because control thrives on access, and access has been revoked. And this is where the story widens beyond one relationship and into generational impact. Because the adult children are watching closely. They are not confused, they are observant. And their silence reads less like uncertainty and more like respect for a choice that feels grounded and earned. And when those children begin to organize their lives, their holidays, their time around a new center of stability, the shift becomes real, not theoretical, because family is not defined by titles. It is defined by consistency and presence. And if a new figure is stepping into that role quietly, without performance, without expectation, without demand, the contrast becomes undeniable, because showing up without conditions builds trust faster than any declaration ever could, and that is what reportedly resonates. So here is where everything lands. This was never about headlines or spectacle. It was about control, clarity, and choosing peace over permission. Whether every detail is confirmed or not, one thing is undeniable. The power dynamic has shifted permanently. The old system no longer holds, and the future is being written quietly on new terms. And if there is one lesson in all of this, it is that sometimes the strongest move is the one you make without asking anyone to watch. Most strongly, the absence of pressure, the ease of participation, the feeling that love does not have to be earned through compliance, and that emotional safety radiates outward because children feel it, grandchildren feel it, and the audience senses it too, because viewers have watched years of tension, negotiation, and emotional exhaustion, and now suddenly there is calm, laughter, softness, and ease. And even in fragments, even in speculation, that difference lands deeply because people recognize peace when they see it. And that recognition keeps them watching because this is not about drama escalating. It is about relief arriving. And relief is compelling in a landscape saturated with conflict. And as the industry response begins to form, the implications grow even larger. Because media thrives on access, and when access is denied, it must adapt, and adaptation often leads to innovation. And the idea that this story could be told through personal footage, through lived moments rather than staged scenes, speaks directly to where audiences are now, hungry for authenticity, uninterested in polish, craving something that feels unfiltered and real. And that possibility shifts ownership again, because whoever holds the footage holds the story. And if that ownership rests with the people living it, the balance of power tilts completely away from the old structure and into something more equitable, more intentional, and more reflective of real life. And that evolution matters because it signals the end of one era and the beginning of another, not just for one person, but for the entire franchise. Because once the illusion breaks, it cannot be repaired, and what replaces it must feel honest to survive. And honesty often comes from those who no longer need approval, and that is the position Janelle appears to occupy now. Calm, grounded, uninterested in convincing anyone of her worth, and fully invested in building a life that does not require explanation. And that posture is magnetic because it represents freedom, not rebellion, choice, not escape. And viewers respond to that because it mirrors their own desire to live without constant justification. And the suspense remains because confirmation has not arrived yet. But in some ways it does not need to, because the pattern is clear, the trajectory is set, and the emotional truth has already landed, even without official statements. And that is the mark of a powerful story, one that unfolds not through announcements, but through alignment. And when alignment appears after years of compromise, it feels like resolution. And as this chapter continues to unfold, the audience will stay, not for chaos, but for clarity, not for shock, but for understanding, and not to watch something fall apart, but to watch something finally come together in a way that feels whole, complete, and undeniably earned.